Okay, so when we were in class yesterday, we had just exported from Maya a UV snapshot. So I'm just going to show the last step that we did in case you need to see it again. So we went to, let's see, that was, which menu were we in? Let's double check that again. We were in the UV editor, UV editor. And then we went, I'm sorry, let's back up for a second. You have to have your shape selected, then UV editor. Then we go to polygons and UV snapshot. And what snapshot is going to do is take a picture of that layout that shows how all 6 sides of the cube are connected. We also said to go in this menu and click on the browse button to put this file someplace. Just for the right now, I'm going to put it on my desktop. I'm just going to say cube layout. Again, if you did this yesterday with me, you don't need to do it twice. I'm just kind of picking up where the last video in step 1 left off. Okay, then we need to make sure that it's set as a JPEG or PNG, doesn't matter which one. The reason we're choosing one of these 2 formats is so that we can bring it into Illustrator or Photoshop to edit. So I'll press OK. And we are finished with this screen for right now. I'm going to choose to use Adobe Illustrator, not only because we used it a lot in Game Design 1, so we're familiar with it, but the name Illustrator suggests that it's much better at illustrating. It has a lot more drawing tools. Photoshop you can do a little bit. Photoshop has also a lot of effects, but it doesn't have a whole lot of drawing tools and properties like Illustrator does. So I'll click on Adobe Illustrator and let it load. As a general rule with the computers we have in here, I probably wouldn't have any more than 2 of these programs running at any given time. I probably would not have Maya, Illustrator, Photoshop, and Unity all at the same time, because that's just going to consume all of the computer's memory and may degrade the performance. So once we're inside of Illustrator, we're going to go up to File and New, File New. And I'm just going to call this Cube Layout. Don't worry so much about the width and height because I'm not exactly sure what the width and height is going to be, and we can change it after we bring in our layout that we just exported from Maya. So name Cube Layout, I'll press OK. And this gives us our workspace, our artboard to work with. To bring in our layout, we just go to the File menu, Place. If you're in Photoshop, it is File Import, I believe still. But in Illustrator, it's Placing because you're not opening a picture. It's on an image editing program. You're placing it into an art file. So Place, and now navigate to the folder from yesterday or today where you saved your layout. And most of you probably saved it to your network drive. Let me see where I tossed mine here. Okay, and there it is. Just a reminder, for Illustrator, the white space all the way around a graphic or inside the artboard boundary does count towards the exported product. So that white space would go with it. So what we want to do is go to the File menu and say Document Setup, Edit Artboards, and we can actually bring in the artboard and line it up with the boundary of our UV snapshot image. And that way it will not add a whole bunch of extra white transparent space, which could cause Maya to panic and not know what to do with the white space. I'm not sure that it would, but I don't want that to happen. So I'll press Escape, and now the artboard will shrink in for me. And we are ready. From here, it's up to you to be as creative as you would like. You really want to try to stay off of these lines as much as possible. That way you don't have to do any additional editing in Maya to define where the squares are. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a fill color over here in the bottom left. So again, just a refresher here. This is fill color. This is outline or stroke color, the border color. So I'm going to double click, and I'm just going to try to make that Mario question mark box for the coin box. I'll just choose a color that I like. And then I'm going to use the rectangle tool to make a square. And I'm just going to click in the upper left corner right before the boundary as much as I can and draw a rectangle. I can always resize it if it's not perfect. And I'm going to choose to get rid of the outline color because I don't believe the original coin box has an outline. It may have a shadow, but I don't think it has an outline. Get out of zoom mode. And so now I have a texture for my first box. Now, it's up to you what the 6 sides of your cube or your box look like. In Mario 1, the question mark really only appears on the sides in a 3D game. It typically doesn't appear on the top, but it doesn't mean I can't do it that way. So what I'm going to choose, this right here, this one here is the side. So there's a reason why the 2 boxes, or there are 3 boxes down here at the bottom. So this is one of the sides, this is another side, this is another side here. This is going to end up being the top. This is going to end up being the back side that we can't see. And this is going to end up being the bottom. You can always change that in Maya if you don't do it in that order. So let me just write these here real quickly so you know what they are. So this one here is side. And I'll change the colors here so we know where things go. So this here is a side. Give me a second here to fix my colors. That is a side. This is a side. This is a side. This here is going to end up being the top. This one here is going to end up being the back side that you can't see from the front. I'll just call that back side. And this one here is going to end up being the bottom. So take some time here and come up with a design that you want to be able to use in this tutorial. Again, when we actually are designing in our game, you'll make this as unique and as custom to your game as possible. For right now, we're just practicing this concept. So I'll give you time to do that, and then we'll walk through exporting this back to Unity.